to Dawson's first EdTalk. We're here today with Mr. Dan Brashears, who is the Superintendent at Centerpoint School District, and we're going to be talking about Centerpoint's Academy of Agriculture and Skilled Trades, which will be opening in 2020, correct? It's
in the fall, yeah.
The fall of 2020. And so we want to give folks a good sense of what you're doing, how you got there, how you made your plans, what's involved, all of that. So can you begin by just sort of talking to me a little bit about why you felt this was needed in your district, in your community, kind of how you got the ball rolling?
Yeah, sure. And I'll kind of break it down into, to answer those questions, the who, why, and what. It is the Centerpoint Academy of Agriculture and Skilled Trades. Anybody that knows anything about Centerpoint knows that we've been an ag school for years, very strong in agriculture, already had the meats lab and some really good facilities. We had just built a greenhouse through a grant a couple of years ago, started that and got that in place. So we had a lot of good things going. So when this grant opportunity and the opportunity for doing a charter school came onto the scene, we thought it'd be a perfect fit. So it's not like we built it from the ground up. We were going with our strengths.
So you had some pieces already in place.
We had a lot already in place. We had the staff in place. We have the facilities in place. We have an 8,000 square foot shop. We've got the greenhouse that I mentioned. We've just built a little farmer's market area.
That's cool.
Yeah, not open yet, but it's built. We've got our...
Will that be for the community?
Yes,
to come?
absolutely.
That's
absolutely.
Really cool.
Just like our meats processing, plant, and that the meats processing is farmers and ranchers can bring in their cattle, we process them, and they get them back. We can't resell theirs because it's not USDA inspected. But now we're opening a storefront where we're going to order in USDA inspected meat and sell it. We will process and sell it along with the fruits and vegetables at the farmer's market. So,
that's awesome.
So, yeah.
Can you talk a little bit before you go any further just about the reason that you would need a charter school as opposed to just getting a grant to do something within your school? Can you kind of explain how that works?
That's a great question. In fact, when we were preparing for this with APSRC, that came up in the conversations, like, why do you need a charter? Mm-hmm. That was the major question we had to answer. Any other school that didn't have any of what we already had in place, it would have been a great charter, but we kind of already had it, so we had to answer that question. Mm-hmm. Well, we're ready to go to the next level. We really looked at the demographics. All educators in all districts know that the more you can get kids hands-on something, the better they're going to learn.
Right.
That hands-on opportunity rather than just academic, paper and pencil. Of course, we all know that in the school world, a lot of it has to be academic because we can't all have a meats lab. But the strength of our community leading toward this school was that we're in a very rural area. We're in an area where, a lot of these folks work in agriculture. Mm-hmm. It's like, I'm going to say it's well more than 50%. I think it's approaching 80% of our community. Their jobs are connected in some way or another to an agricultural field. So that's part of our community. So we thought this just makes sense. And so what we did was we spoke with APSRC. We looked at the charter school process, and we said, we think we can do something really special here to where certain kids that it's right for, juniors and seniors, just juniors and seniors as they're getting ready to graduate and go out into the work world or college, could get some really specific skills in agriculture and trade skills. So we are now opening this high school. It's going to be for juniors and seniors, and when a junior or senior takes English in this school, it's going to be agricultural English or skills trade English. It's going to be directing toward a career.
So the charter gives you some flexibility with the actual course requirements that juniors and seniors would be.
It helps. Yes, we're going to focus the curriculums in all areas. Math is going to be ag math. English is going to be ag English. It also helps us with a waiver we get by having the charter is with the certifications.
Right.
We have fully certified teachers, and we'll continue to, but we're also going to bring in guest speakers from the different areas,
right.
Like plumbers, electricians, people who are experts in their field, but they don't have a teaching degree.
Right.
But they have a lot to show these kids, some hands-on experiences, so we're going to bring them in. And we had to get a waiver from certification for that. Another waiver is from teacher salary schedule for those individuals. We're still paying our teachers according to the salary schedule, but those individuals will get basically a stipend, $1,000 or something to that effect for coming in and teaching some courses over a semester or a year for us.
That's a really good, probably a smart approach. Sometimes there are challenges with bringing somebody in from the field to teach because the educational setting is just so different from what they're accustomed to, and that's a huge adjustment for them. But bringing them in just in a part-time basis or in a real specific way, I think that's a smart way to go about it.
And we're going to tie some internships, and part of this is there will be certain days of the calendar year where kids go out, where these kids leave campus and go on these job sites, whether it's working with a plumber or an electrician or what have you. So those are some of the things that we needed a charter in place to be able to do.
So you basically had your facility set.
Pretty much.
And you received some grant funds
We have
to
received,
help with this.
yes, it's quite a blessing. Working with, again, APSRC, we've gotten some grants. One has been announced, and we're very excited, and it's for, I want to get the amount right. It's around $360,000.
Okay, so
it's a significant grant.
Yeah,
for tools and materials and help pay for training and even some transportation. Since this is a charter high school, we're able to purchase buses, not a fleet, but a couple of buses for them to go on trips. If we ever got to the point where we were bringing kids in from other locations to go to our school, these buses could serve in that capacity. But right now, mostly for the trips, because anybody has an ag program knows they go on a lot of trips. Right. And that'll be the same with this school. Right now, we're waiting to hear about a second grant that's going to be over $800,000.
Wow.
And so we're going to be able to retool the entire shop. We're going to be able to do a lot of really, really good things. This is going to get real.
I think it's just no one would argue with you. I think that how important it is to prepare kids for more than just a 4-year college or a 2-year college. There are kids who are going straight into the workforce. There are shortage areas. You mentioned plumbing, and I've just looked at some national numbers. Plumbing and electricians both are in short areas. Those are good high wage jobs.
And I'm glad you mentioned that, because I do want to point out, and this is important, and we do emphasize that not every kid in this program is not necessarily going to college.
Right.
So, some of them may go on and get a degree.
Right.
We've had some conversations, don't have anything solid yet, but we've had some good conversations with some people down at SAU for some possible partnerships with this school, because it kind of goes along with the SAU model of agricultural.
It would. That would be a
programs.
perfect fit, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Do you know of any other schools? Did you visit any other schools do you know of other schools that are doing something on this level to this degree, or you feel like you're kind of first out there with this?
We're the first agricultural high school in Arkansas. If you go way back, I think somebody called me and said, well, we found this. I think maybe the 1930s. There was something up in the northeast part of the state around Jonesboro, but it was by no means to this level, and I think it was more like a community college than it was a high school.
So you may have said this, but I missed it if you did. What are you thinking numbers wise for kids? How can you talk about that just a little bit, kind of the structure of it?
Yeah, and next fall we're going to take 25 students, and they're all going to be juniors.
Okay.
We don't want to start with seniors. It'll be juniors so they can grow into the program.
Right.
And then the following years we're going to kind of build the program. The second year will be 45 to 50 students in 2 grades.
Okay.
The next year 60 to 70, and by year 4, our maximum planned numbers for this grant and for this charter is 75 students. We'll see.
Okay,
We're planning on the capacity changing with the need.
Right.
This may take off like wildfire, or it may maintain the way we think it's going to.
So how will you, let's say you have 40 juniors that are interested, you can't take 40 juniors. So what do you?
If we go above our allotted numbers, we'll have an anonymous lottery system.
Okay.
And that was part of the grant. We had to write in
so you had to think through all that.
Part of the charter is how you do that.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. And then, so I just thought of this kind of off the top of my head. I wasn't curious about this at first, but now I kind of am. How did you, or how have you, or you may still be working on this, communicated with your community, and so that everybody sort of knows what's coming and how, because it's something really different and
Yeah.
unique. Have y'all
Yeah.
done?
Well, again, the fact that Centerpoint is so well known and the FFA and agricultural program is so strong in that community, they were all just tickled, but they weren't real surprised. I don't think a lot of people that when we went this direction. But that's funny that you mentioned that. That's really kind of how it started. It started with gauging parent and community support. And one of the first things we had to do for the charter and for the grant was to have a public meeting. And our ag teachers had a public meeting. Dr. Mounts set it up, and high school principal, Dr. Mounts.
Right.
And they set up this meeting, and we got the community to come in, got their feedback. And some of the questions they had, were what we've talked about is how many kids are we going to let in, what kind of certifications are they going to get out of it. And we got a lot of positive feedback from them. But that's where we started, was talking to the community.
Okay. And so your high school principal has worked, I guess, closely with the ag teachers, and has he been
Yes.
pretty
Yes.
involved
and,
and instrumental?
in fact, I'm glad you mentioned Dr. Nick Mounts. This really was kind of his vision.
Was it?
Full props to him. He and I, we knew about the charter system, and I think it was a pretty informal phone call or email or something. He said, "Hey, what do you think about this?" I said, "Sure, why not?"
That's the way all good ideas
that's
start.
how we started.
That's the way. What do you think about it?
And he and our ag teachers, Marcus Crawley and Billy Minton and Jerry Finley.
Okay.
They worked real hard, but I think any of those guys would give props to Dr. Mounts. He's worked really hard on this grant.
I was Jerry Finley's fourth grade teacher. just a little aside there.
You're probably responsible for all
I'm feeling that I am. You can go back and ask him if he remembers Miss Neal, but if he does not, don't tell me.
Okay.
Okay. Well, you've mentioned all the folks involved, so that anybody that's listening would know who to contact. Also, of course, they could contact you. Can you give them your email? Do you mind sharing your email?
Yeah, or if they want to go to the website,
Okay.
it's goknights.us. Knights with a K, of course, Centerpoint Knights. Goknights.us, and you can get a hold of anybody you want to from there. But Dr. Mounts would be the first contact.
Okay.
Or any of the ag teachers, but Dr. Mounts really would probably be your first contact. In the structure of this school, it's going to be a separate high school, just like some of the really large districts. Fort Smith, say, has 2 high schools. Well, we now have 2 high schools and a 3A school. But our second high school is going to have 75 kids in it because it's this charter.
Right.
But Dr. Mounts will be the principal of both. I will be the superintendent of both.
Right.
School board will manage both.
So we've got a school within.
A school within a
school within a
Yeah.
school. Well, that's awesome. I'm really excited to see where you guys go with this, and I'm impressed with you for getting started and taking the ball and running with it. And we appreciate you coming today.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
good. Thank you
All
for
right.
having me.